Today on Raiders Wire, we're diving deep into the Raiders 2025 outlook, breaking down what the organization is aiming for this upcoming season. I'll share my honest thoughts on what Raiders GM John Spytek revealed in a recent interview with Ari Maroff on NFL Spotlight. If you haven't seen the full interview, I highly recommend checking it out on YouTube because Spytek offered some pretty encouraging insights about the direction this team is headed. For the first time in a long while, I actually believe in what this Raiders organization is trying to build, and if you're excited about this football season and trust in Spytek's vision, make sure to hit that like button, really smash it so hard that your parents wonder what all the noise is about. And if you're still living with your folks, maybe it's time to get out of the house and hit that like button too. Starting with the Raiders' overall outlook as shared by Spytek, the first thing he emphasized is competition. For years, NFL teams say they want to compete, but it often sounds like just a cliche. This time, though, Spytek made it clear that the Raiders intend to truly compete every single day. This isn't just lip service. You can already see it in the players' attitudes, especially with guys showing up to participate in non-mandatory events during the offseason. That says a lot about the culture Spytek is trying to build, and credit also goes to Pete Carroll's coaching staff, who bring energy and excitement to the team environment. When players come ready to work with passion and coaches amplify that energy, it creates an atmosphere ripe for success. Raiders want players who genuinely love football. That's a message consistently echoed by both coaches and front office members alike. This isn't just about skill, it's about heart and desire to fight every play. Spytek also talked extensively about depth. Earlier in the week, I posted a video discussing how the Raiders' schedule is tougher than some teams, with fewer rest days, which can wear down a roster. I speculated that the Raiders anticipated this and made a strategic effort to build solid depth during the offseason. That's exactly what they did in a smart and cost-effective manner. Depth creates competition within the team. It forces everyone to fight for their roster spots, and that naturally elevates the quality of play across the board. The Raiders address this especially at linebacker and cornerback, two critical positions that demand intense physicality and resilience. With injuries being such a brutal factor last season, having quality depth not only improves the team's competitiveness, but also protects them when injuries inevitably hit. Depth is a key ingredient to long-term success in the NFL, and the Raiders seem to be committing to that philosophy. One of the biggest takeaways from Spytek's comments is the Raiders' clear plan to win, not just rebuild. Early in the offseason, there was a lot of speculation about whether this team was entering a rebuilding phase or if they were trying to compete immediately. Spytek shot that speculation down and reiterated that the Raiders planned on winning right away. He understands fully the challenges of the AFC West, one of the toughest divisions in football, packed with talented teams, great coaches, and elite quarterbacks. The Raiders are not just building for the future, they're building to win now, particularly against divisional rivals like the Chiefs. Interestingly, Spytek also mentioned how the Raiders are modeling their roster-building strategies after successful teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who found ways to beat powerhouse teams like Kansas City through smart roster construction and physical, hard-nosed football. Spytek's Raiders want to play hard physical football with a brand that shows toughness and relentless effort every week from September through December and beyond. He quoted John Mara, who once said, "Football sometimes is as simple as who can play harder, longer." That quote sums up the Raiders' mindset perfectly. They want players who are crazy mother swears. Guys who love football so much. They're willing to put their bodies on the line every play. Combine that mentality with the depth they're building, and you get a team that can sustain the grind throughout the entire season. Spytek highlighted the importance of protecting the football, which was a major issue last year with turnovers. One of the simplest ways to reduce turnovers is to run the football effectively. And that's exactly what the Raiders want to do. Run a balanced offense that pounds the rock and also attacks down the field. Spytek's vision is for a physical, balanced offense that helps control the clock, protects the quarterback, and wears defenses down. This brings us to one of the more intriguing moves the Raiders made, drafting Ashton Gentry. I've talked about this a bit in previous shows. But Spytek gave some key insights on why they pulled the trigger on Gentry that really made things click for me. Spytek referred to Gentry as a humble superstar, and I think that description fits perfectly. When you hear that comparison to a legendary player like Barry Sanders, who was just 30 yards short of Gentry's college yardage at Boise State, it makes you take notice. But it wasn't just about stats or physical ability. It was how Gentry carried himself at the Boise State Pro Day that impressed Spytek and the coaching staff. The Raiders GM was the only one attending with the running backs coach, and they were able to see firsthand how well respected and loved Gentry was around that building. Not every star player has that kind of character or humility, but Gentry clearly does. And that fits with the Raiders' culture-building efforts. Spytek also spoke about wanting to play violent football, a phrase he uses often to describe the physical, aggressive style he admires and wants the Raiders to embody. This kind of football is about beating the other team physically and mentally, winning the trenches, intimidating opponents, and refusing to back down. Gentry fits this mindset perfectly. He's a nightmare to tackle. And there's a story about Bucky Irvin, another physical back, who used to say, "The first guy's not going to tackle me." Gentry shares that mindset. This violent, aggressive brand of football, combined with a player like Gentry who refuses to go down easily, is exactly what Spytek wants to bring to Las Vegas. Finally, Spytek stressed that everything starts with the running game. The Raiders want to build an offense that relieves pressure on the passing game by establishing a strong ground attack. He referenced Pete Carroll's philosophy and also talked about how Baker Mayfield benefited greatly from a top 5 running game in Tampa Bay, which helped elevate his play. The Raiders recognize that they won't find a quarterback who can single-handedly beat Patrick Mahomes. It's just not that simple. Instead, they are focused on building a roster that can support their quarterback and wear down the competition physically. This is a team built for sustained success, rooted in physicality, balance, and effort. Up next, I'll break down why the Raiders went out and traded for Gino Smith. But before I do, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming content, including our Madden Sims on Fridays. It's a fun way to watch the Raiders and engage with the community. Stay tuned. Now that we've covered the Raiders' outlook for 2025 and their mindset heading into the season, let's dive into one of the biggest moves they made this offseason. The trade for quarterback Gino Smith. This move sparked a lot of debate among fans and analysts alike because Gino Smith is not the flashiest name on the market, and some wondered if the Raiders were settling or simply trying to fill a temporary gap. But after hearing from John Spytek and really analyzing the situation, it's clear that this acquisition fits perfectly into the Raiders' larger strategy. First off, let's be honest. The quarterback situation in Las Vegas has been unsettled for years. The team has cycled through multiple starters and struggled to find a reliable presence under center. Despite some promising flashes from previous quarterbacks, consistency has been elusive. Bringing Gino Smith in is about stability and reliability, rather than chasing the latest big-name star. Smith is a veteran who has proven himself capable of managing a team and making smart decisions on the field, which aligns well with what the Raiders want in a quarterback right now. Spytek pointed out that Gino Smith brings a professional approach to the game, which is exactly what the Raiders need as they work to build a winning culture. Smith is known for being steady and unflappable. He doesn't get rattled easily and understands how to lead a team. That leadership and composure are invaluable, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC West, where every game is a battle and pressure moments are constant. Raiders want a QB who won't fold under pressure, but will instead manage the game efficiently and keep the team in a position to win. It's also important to understand that Gino Smith fits the offensive scheme that Pete Carroll and the coaching staff are implementing. They want a quarterback who can execute a balanced attack, combining the running game with timely throws downfield. Smith may not be the flashiest passer, but he's effective, especially when surrounded by a strong supporting cast and a run game that keeps defenses honest. The Raiders spent a lot of effort during the offseason to build that supporting cast. From adding depth on the offensive line to drafting Ashton Gentry, who will help take some of the load off the passing game. With Smith at quarterback, the offense can function smoothly and methodically, which should reduce turnovers and sustain drives. Moreover, Gino Smith brings something else the Raiders desperately needed: experience. The NFL is a league where experience matters, especially at the quarterback position. Rookie quarterbacks often struggle adjusting to the speed and complexity of the pro game. Even some talented second-year QBs hit roadblocks when the pressure ramps up. By contrast, Smith has been in the league long enough to understand defenses and adapt on the fly. That knowledge and savvy allow him to make quick decisions, avoid big mistakes, and keep the offense moving even against tough defenses. Another factor that makes the Smith trade sensible is the cost. The Raiders didn't overpay for him, and they acquired a quarterback who fits their budget while still having enough salary cap space to improve other key areas. This kind of financial flexibility is crucial, especially when you want to build depth across the roster and invest in young talent without getting stuck paying top dollar to a quarterback who may not fit the team culture. The Raiders' front office made a smart financial decision by choosing Smith, ensuring they can maintain balance across all positions. It's also worth mentioning that Gino Smith has a reputation for being a team-first player. He's not the type to demand the spotlight or create distractions. For a team like the Raiders, which is trying to move past years of drama and inconsistency, having a quarterback who is focused solely on football and willing to embrace a team-centric mindset is a breath of fresh air. Spytech talked about how culture and attitude are the foundation of this rebuild, and Smith's character aligns perfectly with that vision. Of course, some fans are still skeptical. They want a franchise quarterback, a dynamic playmaker who can change the course of a game with a single throw or run. That's understandable. Every team wants that. But the reality is that those kinds of quarterbacks are rare, and building around a solid, experienced player who can manage the game well and stay healthy might be the smarter approach right now. The Raiders aren't in a position to take big gambles on unproven talent at quarterback this season. Instead, they're focusing on winning the games in front of them by minimizing mistakes and playing physical, consistent football. In addition to Smith's strengths as a player and leader, the trade itself sent a message to the rest of the team and the league. It showed that the Raiders are serious about competing in 2025 and that they're not just trying to tread water while waiting for the perfect quarterback to fall into their lap. They're taking control of their destiny and making pragmatic moves that fit their philosophy. This approach might not generate the most buzz or headlines, but it builds a foundation that can be sustained over time. The Raiders are not just looking for a quick fix. They're building for long-term competitiveness. Spytech also emphasized that the Raiders are fully committed to developing the players around Smith. That means the coaching staff will work hard to tailor the offense to Gino's strengths, maximizing his effectiveness while gradually improving the team's overall talent level. Development is a big part of the plan. It's not just about winning this season, but also setting up a pipeline of talent that can keep the team competitive for years to come. As we look ahead to the 2025 season, the Gino Smith trade feels like a calculated, low-risk, high-reward move. Smith may not be a household name for our fans, but he brings exactly what the Raiders need right now: stability, experience, leadership, and a commitment to team-first football. Combine that with the physical, hard-nosed style the team wants to play and the growing depth across the roster, and you have a recipe for a team that could surprise a lot of people. Ultimately, the Raiders' goal for 2025 is clear: to compete every week, to grind out wins through toughness and consistency, and to create a culture where players hold each other accountable and give everything on the field. The Gino Smith trade might be just one piece of the puzzle, but it's an important piece that signals a shift in the Raiders' approach, one that's built on realism, professionalism, and a commitment to winning in the here and now. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders, and don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Raiders coach Antonio Pierce loses his cool. I won't play with that guy anymore. Player Jakobi Meyers suspended. The Las Vegas Raiders are facing turmoil both on and off the field as tensions escalate between head coach Antonio Pierce and wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. In a surprising and intense moment during a recent team meeting, Pierce reportedly lost his temper, declaring, "I won't play with that guy anymore," referring to Meyers, who has now been officially suspended by the team. This unprecedented conflict has sent shockwaves through the Raiders organization, fans and analysts alike. Jakobi Meyers, a key offensive player known for his reliable hands and route-running skills, had been an integral part of the Raiders' strategy this season. However, reports indicate that clashes between Meyers and Pierce over practice conduct and game strategy have created a rift too wide to bridge. Sources close to the team reveal that the discord began to surface after a series of disagreements. During training sessions, Meyers, who has always been vocal about his perspectives, reportedly challenged Pierce's coaching decisions, leading to heated exchanges behind closed doors. The breaking point came during a recent practice when the two reportedly argued vehemently, leading Pierce to publicly declare he would no longer include Meyers in game plans. The Raiders management, faced with the delicate situation, has sided with Coach Pierce, leading to the decision to suspend Meyers indefinitely. This move has sparked debate among fans and sports commentators about team dynamics and leadership styles within the Raiders. Many question whether this internal conflict might derail the Raiders' campaign this season, especially given Meyers' importance in the receiving corps. Antonio Pierce, a former NFL linebacker turned coach, is known for his intense approach to leadership and discipline. While this has helped instill toughness and resilience in the team, critics argue that his handling of the situation with Meyers reveals cracks in his management style. Some analysts suggest that this could be a defining moment for Pierce's coaching career, testing his ability to manage personalities and maintain unity. Meanwhile, Jakobi Meyers, who has demonstrated professionalism and dedication throughout his career, now faces an uncertain future with the Raiders. The suspension not only sidelines him from upcoming games, but also raises questions about his long-term role within the franchise. Fans are eager to see how Meyers will respond and whether reconciliation with the coaching staff is possible. As the Raiders prepare for their next matches without one of their top receivers, the spotlight intensifies on how the team will adapt and overcome internal strife. The fallout from this clash highlights the challenges of balancing talent management with authoritative coaching in the high-pressure environment of professional football. In the coming weeks, all eyes will be on Antonio Pierce and Jakobi Meyers as the Raiders navigate this turbulent chapter. Whether this episode marks the beginning of deeper troubles or a turning point for renewed focus remains to be seen. What is certain is that the Raiders' locker room atmosphere and performance on the field will be closely scrutinized by fans and the media alike. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.